Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to talk about something special, or should I say something different. As you know that most of us, or should I say majority of us, have one PC and a monitor and a keyboard and a mouse. And if it happens that if you are working and you have a lot of devices like I do, okay, these are the devices that is actually that I have to use to work. And I find it troublesome to actually just unplug the wireless keyboard and mouse and to plug into all these devices. Same goes to the monitor. So there is a solution for this, and I believe that many of you have actually bought hubs and KVM switches and such. Today I'm just going to tell you how I go by using the KVM switch and the Type-C dock that I'm using. Let's get into it. Now, before I begin, do take note that this is not meant for gaming, alright? If you guys are gamers, this KVM and multi-USB Type-C dock, right, it's not meant for you because it only allows up to 60 Hz refresh rate and never go up beyond 144, and you can't actually project 4K. Now, this is actually a KVM switch which I've actually purchased pretty cheap locally, and do note that it's controlling two devices to be shared with the monitor, the combo keyboard and mouse, and of course some parahertz things like your thumb drive, your audio interface and such. Now, for those of you who actually not based here like where I am in Singapore, there is alternative whereby you can actually purchase this U-Green KVM. In fact, this is a much more better KVM switch, and it does include additional of USB ports, but it's slightly more expensive. Now, these are the two things that I will require to project on all the devices that I've shown you earlier. Okay, all the devices that I need to project. Now, there are basically two types. One is actually the 7-in-1 hub. The other one is actually 8-in-1 hub. What's the difference? The difference is only on the Ethernet, or should I say the local area network connection. Now, I personally will not go for the local area network because I should say that, or should I say the LAN port. Reason being, right, this device itself, right, I have actually tested numerous of version. So this, though on spec is stated that it's actually 1 gig of transfer and receive, but it's not that. It's only at 100 Mbps. So I would actually advise you to actually purchase this, the 7-in-1 hub, which only consists of the HDMI, the SD card readers, two Type-C port. One is actually for charging, the other one is actually for parahertz if you have any device that runs on USB Type-C, and there's two additional USB hub. Now, I've split into these three zones to make you understand how I actually connect all my devices. There's zone 1, which is actually the PC one that's on KVM switch PC 1, and this is actually the share zone whereby you share the let's say you got additional hub, you got additional audio interface, you got speakers, and you have wireless keyboard and mouse. So I call this the share zone. And last but not least is actually the zone 2, which is actually PC2 on the KVM switch itself to be connected. Okay, I'll just start off with the shared zone. On the KVM switch, right, all you need to do is to connect the output of the KVM port, the HDMI port to the monitor, then followed by your hub. You can actually connect to a USB hub. And why do I actually have this additional USB hub? Because I wanted more connection, things like my Jabra headset, which use the USB hub, or should I say a USB connection, my webcam that use the USB connection. So having only one hub over here, right, just one port itself, right, is not enough. That's the reason why I got this multiple hub, and it does also connect to my audio interface. Now, I used to actually have the sound card plugged onto my PC itself, but it can't share with the device on my other devices. That's the reason why I've changed to use the audio interface, and of course connect your speakers to the audio interface. And last but not least, this is the most important, which is actually the mouse and keyboard. Now I'm going to start off with something simple, which is actually my PC Zone 2, which stated here PC2 on KVM Switch. Now this is actually how I'm going to connect. The PC itself, right, on the graphic card itself, I would just plug the HDMI cable to the KVM switch that's stated here PC2. Then a normal USB cable, you can be USB 3, USB 2. Anyway, this runs on USB 2, doesn't run on USB 3. So I can just connect from any of the ports from my PC itself to this KVM switch. Next is Zone 1, which is either one of these devices connected to the USB Type-C Docker, which I've introduced to you earlier. It can be a notebook, it can be a MacBook, it can be any Samsung devices. Now, do take note that while you're connected to all this, right, you will need a power adapter to power up this Type-C dock. If you go without the power adapter and you connect any of these devices, right, all this will suffer. Okay, all this device will suffer, as in like monitor, the USB hub, the audio interface, the keyboard and mouse, it will suffer. Reason being, right, there's not enough power to power up all these devices. And this KVM switch itself, right, it does not come with a power source, which is actually plugged into this switch itself. So make sure that you have at least a 65 watt adapter. I've tried the 45 watts. It's pretty weak if you want to project out to a 32-inch monitor, which I'm having right now. And do note that you only can connect to either one of these devices here, either a notebook, a MacBook, or any Samsung devices. Now this is how it's being connected. I will show you on this end first, which is actually the Type-C dock. First, you will connect the HDMI out to the HDMI in on the KVM switch itself. Then, as usual, similar to the PC method, which you connect a USB cable straight to the KVM switch. And do take note that you will need to plug in a power adapter. In fact, a recommendation would be 65 watts. You can actually connect 45 watts, not an issue. But do note that if you are connecting to a 45 watts, right, it might not be able to power up, or should I say project out on any monitor that is larger than 27 inch or 32 inch. Do take note on this. And of course, it might suffer to provide the current to the USB hub, the audio interface, and of course your wireless keyboard and mouse. So 65 watts is just nice. And having to say so, now you cannot plug 3 devices in one go. You can only plug either a notebook, a MacBook, or a Samsung device onto this dock. Now this is the overall how the layout is being connected. And as earlier on I mentioned, right, Zone 1 and Zone 2. So on the KVM switch itself, right, if I were to click and elite it on PC1, meaning to say Zone 1, either of these devices, let's say I'm using a MacBook, the MacBook will be able to actually project out to the monitor, make use of the hub, make use of the audio interface that is connected with the speakers, and also your combo mouse and keyboard. And if you were to toggle PC2, when you click on here and it goes PC2, you can actually connect to your PC, whereby your PC will make use of these devices over here. Same goes to if you unplug your MacBook, you plug in your notebook, and you toggle the switch to PC1, your notebook will be able to actually make use of all these devices like the monitor hub, audio interface, and of course the wireless keyboard and mouse, and to project the sound on the speakers. So hope you understand this flow here. Now let me just take you to a live demo of how it's actually being done, and also some of the precaution that I will do when I do the switch. Now before I do the demo itself, right, I forgotten to mention that this KVM switch itself, right, as mentioned, it cannot project out 4K on your monitor, nor it will go 144 Hz. So do take note on this. The max it will go is actually at at 1080p at 60 Hz. So do take note on this. Now this is actually my PC. I'm actually toggled, as you can see here, right? It's actually toggled on PC2. So I can make use of the mouse, I can make use of the keyboard. Okay, let me just show you a demo here. Alright, and I can play music. Okay, this is actually for my PC. Now I'm just gonna switch to my notebook, but before I do so, as I mentioned, that I need to explain to you why I'm actually doing this. Now I will need to actually turn on the volume of my audio interface, because if I were to just leave it and toggle, right, if there's a sudden pop or burst, right, it's either it will harm your audio interface or your speakers. So make sure if you have devices that share using your audio interface and your speakers, right, please make sure you lower down the volume, or you can actually turn it off, okay, like I do. But of course I don't have to actually turn off the speakers, I just lower down the volume on my audio interface. Now this is actually my notebook here. So I'm just going to connect to my notebook on my docking station and make sure that I actually lower down the volume. Then I toggle. So when I toggle, as you can see that my PC is still on. When I toggle, see on the screen itself, right, this is actually my notebook. It's slightly different. So as you can see, this is actually act as a secondary monitor, I should say an extended monitor. I believe some of you do understand that you can actually do an extended mode on Windows 10. See, this is actually my primary, or should I say this is my primary, this is my secondary. And as usual, I mentioned to you that I can actually, okay, let me just see if I could load this. Okay, my notebook is pretty, okay. If I were to max up the volume here, see, I'm still be able to actually listen to music through my speakers. And do note that this is toggled to PC2. Now, in order for me to switch to another device, I will again lower down the volume, unplug only this Type-C. I will switch to my Chromebook. Okay, this is actually my Chromebook. So if I were to plug it in, it will take some time. See, this is actually my Chromebook. So same thing, it acts as a secondary and primary and secondary screen. So if I were to do this, for example, YouTube, oh, okay, probably I just click on this, and if I were to turn on the volume again,
beautiful this. Yeah, right. Let's go back to the beginning of your story.
okay, I still can use the audio interface, not a problem.
Not only thinking about.
Now I'm going to turn this off, unplug it, and I'm going to switch to my MacBook. Same thing. Okay, let me just see. Oh, my MacBook shut down. So let me just connect. Okay, let me just lock in. Okay, as you can see right now, this is actually my MacBook. I'm actually able to use it as per normal. It's like I can actually use the mouse, I can use the keyboard. Okay, let's say I were to type this. And of course, I can hear the audio, not a problem.
Manage your team's work with Monday.com. Just go to Monday.com
Okay.
and get started by adding everything your team.
Simple connection is just through one connection. and you can actually make use of all these devices with just two with just two controller, the USB Type C dock and the KVM switch. So it's pretty handy. I mean, if let's say you are working, or should I say this is actually meant for work environment, not meant for gaming. Now, as you were saying that, oh, these are all actually USB 2, right? How am I going to actually transfer data from one device to another? Let's say from my PC to my notebook. Let's say my notebook requires some data from my PC. Normally, I'll just go through the network. And how do I actually go by doing it? And the transfer rate is pretty fast because it's based on the AC. I mean, depend on your router how fast it provide with the AC connection. Now, coming to something more interesting. Okay, let me just lower down the volume again. For those of you who are actually having Samsung devices, be it whether S9, S10, Note 10, or S10e, now there is a thing called Samsung DeX. Imagine that you don't have a PC, you only got this docking and you got a monitor and a set of keyboards. You can just plug the Type-C onto your Samsung device. Okay, let me just key in. Okay. See, this is actually... Okay, let me just cancel. This is actually the Samsung device they're showing on the screen. You can trigger DeX mode. Okay, where's the DeX mode? Okay, here. And once you've done that, right, see, it will bring you to a desktop interface. Now, sometimes I do work using just my mobile, connecting to this just to save electricity. So, yeah. And of course, you can actually play audio if you want to. Let me just grab something. Okay, maybe this.
Waiting up for you upstairs.
See?
Why you act like I'm not there? Baby,
And of course, you can actually toggle.
It feels like you.
As you can actually toggle other application. It's pretty handy. And the bonus to this, right, if you were to, for example, let's say you have a Samsung device, the S9, and it happened that you drop the device and the screen cracked, and you can't actually use the phone at all. This is actually an alternative to actually access to your device itself. Okay, that's why I say this, because you can actually, search for your contact list, who are the contact lists that you have, etc. Okay, nothing much here. This is actually my test device, so you don't see any contacts here, but what I'm trying to say is that if your screen crack or you drop it, your glass break, and somehow you're not able to actually control on your device itself, you can actually make use of this Type-C dock, I should say USB Type-C docking station, to connect to your device, and you can actually retrieve all your stuff. Let's say, for example, let's say you have emails that I have actually not configured. This is actually a test device. So you can actually do that. And you can, of course, do all the settings that you want. Alright, I hope you guys have actually enjoyed what I've actually shown you, because some of my colleagues have actually asked me, how am I to work at home? Because during this period of time, I got to work from home, so I have numerous of devices to actually fiddle with. Okay, due to my job nature, I need to use all these devices. So that's the reason why I did the setup this way, so that I don't have any cluttered devices, additional devices like, additional keyboard, additional mouse, additional speakers, additional, audio interface, things like that. All I need are just the common ones that is being shared with all these devices, like the monitor, the audio interface, the speakers, the mouse, the hub, and the keyboard. And early on, I was actually saying that, during conference time, right, I'll make use of actually my Jabra headset, which is actually connected using the so-called USB type of connection. I'll just connect here. And as and when if I want my webcam to turn on, which is this, okay, I'll just feed the cable over here and it will just turn on. So be it whether I'm actually using my PC, I'm using my notebook, my MacBook, my Google Chrome, or should I say Chromebook, sorry. All I need to do is just to switch on the KVM, okay? Now, I'll repeat that again. This Type-C docking station, right, or should I say a multiple USB Type-C hub, okay? This is actually pretty weird. I won't know whether it's a docking station or is it a multiple USB hub. So when you search for it, right, I will put all the I'll put the description on where to actually purchase this thing. All right, it's actually on on AliExpress. So yeah, basically you just need to know that this device, right, will only accept, I mean this docking station here, right, will accept one devices. And having to say so, I made use of the KVM to toggle with all these apparatus, or should I say all these parameters or devices to be used. Okay, hope you enjoy what I've actually shared with you. If you're interested of how to actually purchase this device and the KVM switch itself, I will share the link to you under my description. Alright then, take care, goodbye, see you.